Forex was popping, man. So I made a video. One of the last videos I made was about limits, right? Executions, limits, and stops, or the different types of orders. So for the past few weeks, I've been only using limits, and it's changed everything, right? For a very long time, I think for the past year, all I was using was market execution. And I was just basically told to do that. I was told that it was better and whatever. And then it seemed like week after week, I would miss trades when I was asleep, or I would take a shower or something. And I would just barely miss trades, or I'd just be completely asleep and just miss them by hours. But sometimes there was trades that I just missed by like a few seconds, 2 minutes, and then I was asleep and I missed trades. And I was like, this sucks, because a lot of times I would end up negative just because I missed certain trades. Then I was like, let me use limits and see how it works. Dude, limits are the shit. They change everything. So in the last video, if you guys are interested how all of these work, that explains it. Market execution is literally market executing, buying or selling exactly where it's at. Sell stops are if you have a price point and the price goes through that, then the sell stop will be activated, and vice versa for a buy stop once price goes through it. And then limits are if price comes up and touches it, then you would hopefully have it come sell down. And buy limits are if you have an area, you hopefully have price touch it and then go back up. So those are the different types of orders. Other videos more in depth. But the reason why buy and sell limits are the shit is because you do not have to be there when it happens. Okay, it's so dope. I used to literally set alerts, like I would set like 2-3 alerts around the area that I wanted to enter, and then I would sit there and wait for it to happen. That sucked. If you're a busy person, like I'm a full-time trader, so I don't have to, worry about not having a lot of time. I do have a lot of time. But some people don't have that luxury. Some people have a lot of shit going on. And even me, when I have a lot of time, sometimes I'd be doing some shit and I wasn't able to enter the trade and I would miss out on it. Limits take out everything. You can set a limit, forget about it, and make money. So the thing with limits, okay, you always have to measure the spread. So for me personally, this is actually a trade that I'm looking to enter on. So what you have to do is you have to measure out the spread and find the trade. So the thing with limits is if we have a sell limit, okay? If we have a sell limit, we can have the sell limit exactly on the price where you want to sell it off at. Okay? So if you want to sell right here, you can have the sell limit right there. If you want to have a buy limit, you have to measure out the spread, however much it is. With NJ, what is it? Like 1.5 pips or something. I don't trade it very often. So you'd have to measure it out from that point on and then put that buy limit above it. Okay. And then measure out the spread or the stop loss and everything. The reason is because, like right here, right now, or yeah, let's just do the current candle. So if we wanted to sell some point up here, okay, price is the bottom line is on the body of the candle at all times, and that's the line that you need to activate the trade. Okay, so let's choose a random candle. Let's go back in time. Let's choose this candle. Okay, so at all times the actual body of the candle is always going to have the line that you need to hit the sell limit to activate it. Okay, so it'll look something like that, right? That's how it's always going to look. The bottom line will need to touch the sell limit for you to activate it. So for me, since I enter right when the body actually hits the POI, I can have the sell limit exactly where I want. So if I want to enter right there at the top of that wick, I can have the sell limit right there because I want the body to touch that line, right? And then vice versa. If we have a buy limit, okay, so let's do this. Let's act like this blue candle is real time. What happens is that this bottom line, yes, is on the body, but since it's flipped and we want to buy, we need the top line to touch it. Okay, so essentially the bottom line is always going to be on the body, it's going to be connected to the body. But for buy limits, when it's flipped, we need the top line to touch it. So what we have to do, if we want to enter, let's say we want to enter we want to enter right at this line right here. Okay, we want to enter right there. What we would have to do, since we need the top line to touch it for it to enter, we understand that once the body gets down here, that's where we want to enter, right? So we'd have to measure the spread and make sure that once the bottom line touches it, the top line hits our limit entry, okay? So that's why we have to measure it for buys. So once that bottom line, once the fucking body of the candle actually touches that, that's when we want to enter in real time. So then we have to have it a little bit up so that top line touches our limit and enters us, okay? Very, very simple. So that's limits. That's how to use them. Now, the reason why they're so dope, like I said before, is because you don't need to be there to have them enter. You can literally place a limit, go to sleep, wake up, and be in profit, right? I've done it. It's amazing. And it's so much better than waking up and seeing that you've missed a trade just because you're asleep, right? It sucks. So for this one, this is a buy limit. Okay, we have this entire trade. We have price made a big drop, maintained this level, pushed up, came back down, maintained again, pushed up, maintained again, now had another strong push up. Okay, just price action, and then we have level, POI. Okay, so if I wanted to enter right when price came in here, what would I do is I would take the top of the box, measure out about what the spread will be, buy limit right there. Okay, buy limit set right there. And now what I do for the stop loss is I will measure out again about what the spread is, because sometimes the spread will take you out before the price actually gets down there, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. So I always measure it out, and then I'll put it just a little bit below what the spread will probably be. So if the spread comes all the way down into here, it won't take me out, right? It's a little safety net, just a little bit bigger, right? And that's it. That's the entire trade. Boom. Right? That's all it is. And then now, real-time example, if I wanted to sell right here, let's say I want to buy up to here and then sell up to here, literally take the sell limit, put it exactly where you want to sell, okay? And then put the stop loss wherever you want, right? Wherever above, okay? The only thing that you have to worry about is the sessions. So let's say you place a buy limit at 4 p.m., right? Asian session. By the time it gets to London, it might enter you a little different because, okay, so let's say you place it at Asian session. And then, let's do this. So we do this one at 1.5. Let's say Asian session is like that, right? So the spread is a little bit more. So you place it like that, you might get in just a little bit before you would want to, just because as time goes on, as it gets later in the day, the spread gets smaller. So if you place it at Asian session, right, and it's a 2 pip spread, as it goes on and it's 2 a.m., the spread might be like 1.5, 1.4. Okay, it's not a huge difference, but it does make a difference in the risk reward and everything. And yeah, and then one thing that I always do is I make sure that I never keep a limit till like rollover the next day. So around 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when the market closes for a second and spreads get really, really big. Data gets collected, all of that stuff. And I never keep it because I do not want, unless it's like super far away. But if it's anywhere in general area, I would never keep it because spreads get really big. Sometimes they get up to 20, 25 pips, and I would hate to lose a trade just because of the rollover time at 2 p.m. when spreads get really big. So that's the only thing you got to look out for. But besides that, limits are the shit, man. And I literally, every single time I place a limit, what I do is I place an alert right at the entry, just because I like to know when trade gets entered. I place a limit, or not a limit, an alert to let me know if my stop loss gets hit, and then I will always place an alert to let me know when to put my stop loss in profit, right? That's what I do. And it's literally place the limit and then forget about it. Just have those alerts set so I know what's going on, and that's it. And you just set it, forget about it. You don't even have to open up MT4 when it lets you know that the trade is entered. You just know, or you don't even have to know. It's whatever. But yeah, limits are the shit, and I've been using them for the past few weeks. And I don't think I'm ever going to go back to using market execution unless it's right on the spot and it's right happening right now. But limits are amazing, man, and it saves so much time because there's been so many times when I literally just sit there and wait for like an hour. Like prices just consolidating right where I want to enter, and I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting for it to get down there, and it's like an hour going by, and I just can't do anything because I'm waiting for it to spike down there and get in. Limits solve all that. Limits save a lot of time, and you don't have to look at the charts nearly as often. So that's it, man. OFX out.